What does $218 million get you in the world of sports? In the world of high finance, it's an astronomical sum. It can buy you a fleet of private jets, a collection of priceless art, or even a small skyscraper in some cities. But in the cathedral of professional baseball, that figure represents something else entirely. It represents a singular, franchise-altering investment in human talent. For a championship-caliber baseball team, it buys more than just a player. It buys an ace, an anchor for a pitching rotation with dreams of a World Series parade, a man capable of stopping a losing streak cold and elevating his entire team through sheer force of will. It buys a workhorse lefty armed with some of the most bewildering and effective pitches in the entire game, an artist who paints the corners of the plate with precision and power. But for the New York Yankees, that staggering 9-figure check bought them something more, something deeper. It wasn't just about securing an arm, it was about acquiring a story. It got them a piece of living history. Because the man who put his name on that colossal 8-year, $218 million contract didn't just become the new co-ace of the Bronx Bombers, forming one of the most formidable 1-2 punches in baseball. In that single instant, with the stroke of a pen, he became the highest-paid Jewish athlete in American history. His name is Max Fried. This is the story of a contract so massive, it resets financial markets and redefines sporting legacies. It's a deal that catapults a quiet, humble pitcher from the suburbs of California into a pantheon of American sporting legends. And while the numbers themselves are staggering, so large they almost lose their meaning, the real story is the journey, a winding path of breathtaking dominance, soul-testing resilience, and an identity that connects with millions. The real question isn't what the Yankees paid. We know the figure down to the last dollar. The more telling question is why. In an age of unprecedented spending and high-profile flameouts, why was Max Fried, in the eyes of the most storied and scrutinized franchise in all of sports, worth every single penny of his record-shattering deal? Today, we're peeling back the layers of the on-field brilliance and the profound cultural significance that transformed this unassuming pitcher into a $250 million man. This pitcher just signed the largest contract for any Jewish player in the history of sports, making him the wealthiest Jewish athlete in America. It's a jaw-dropping $218 million deal that sent shockwaves through the league, a number that signifies belief, power, and monumental expectations. But in an era where teams are handing out money like never before, where 9-figure deals are becoming the norm, the question must be asked, is he actually worth it? Is this a masterstroke of team building or a ticking time bomb of a contract that could cripple the franchise for years to come? We're about to break down the massive deal and the quiet, consistent dominance that convinced the New York Yankees to bet the farm on him. This isn't just about the money, the dollars and cents on a spreadsheet. It's about a journey of perseverance that began on the sun-baked sandlots of California, was nearly derailed in a surgeon's operating room, and found its ultimate culmination under the brightest, most unforgiving lights in the world. New York City. Chapter 1. The Making of a Legend. Before the iconic pinstripes, before the triumphant hoisting of a World Series trophy, and long before the 9-figure contract that would make him a household name, Max Fried was a kid from Santa Monica, California, with a preternaturally gifted arm and an obsessive love for the game. He honed his skills at Harvard-Westlake, the famed Los Angeles athletic juggernaut, a high school that serves as a veritable factory for future professional athletes. There, he formed one of the most legendary high school pitching duos in recent memory, with another future big leaguer, Lucas Giolito. Even in a hotbed of elite talent like Southern California, a region overflowing with 5-star prospects, Fried was on another level. His impossibly smooth, athletic delivery was poetry in motion, and it produced a curveball that seemed to violate the laws of physics A pitch that had seasoned scouts shaking their heads in disbelief, their clipboards and radar guns confirming what their eyes could hardly believe. By 2012, the consensus was clear and universal. He was considered the best left-handed pitching prospect in the entire country. A scholarship to play for the powerhouse UCLA Bruins was in his back pocket, but the allure of the pros, the call of the dream, was too strong to ignore. In the 2012 MLB draft, the San Diego Padres snatched him with the 7th overall pick, backing it up with a life-changing $3 million signing bonus. The professional journey had officially begun, a teenager suddenly a millionaire, tasked with becoming the future ace of a franchise. But the path to stardom is almost never a straight line. It's often a crucible, a trial by fire designed to test the limits of one's resolve. After a fantastic start in the minor leagues that seemed to validate his high draft status and immense promise, disaster struck. In August of 2014, pitching in what felt like just another routine game, Fried felt that dreaded, sickening pop in his elbow. The 3-word diagnosis that every pitcher fears, a torn UCL. He needed Tommy John surgery. For a young pitcher whose entire future is tied to the health of his arm, it's a devastating blow, a sentence that comes with a grueling, year-long rehabilitation process filled with monotony and doubt, and zero guarantee you'll ever be the same player again. His meteoric rise to the top came to a screeching, painful halt. While he was on the shelf, facing the lonely reality of recovery, the unfeeling business of baseball kept churning. That offseason, the Padres, desperate to win now, traded for all-star outfielder Justin Upton. In that multiplayer deal, a young, injured, and seemingly forgotten pitching prospect named Max Fried was sent to the Atlanta Braves. At the time, he was viewed as little more than a throw-in, a high-risk, high-upside lottery ticket whose best days might already be behind him. He wouldn't throw a single competitive pitch in all of 2015, spending the entire year simply trying to get his arm healthy again, a forgotten asset in a new organization. This chapter of the story is absolutely key to understanding who Max Fried is. That period of isolation and uncertainty, spent in rehab facilities far from the roar of the crowd, forged a quiet, steely determination that would come to define his career. When he finally returned to the mound in 2016, he wasn't just a top prospect anymore. He was a survivor. He clawed his way back, level by level, from the lowest rungs of the minor leagues, finally making his MLB debut with Atlanta on August 8, 2017. Even then, the road was bumpy. He was sent up and down from the minor leagues 5 separate times in 2018, as he struggled to find consistent footing at the highest level, a testament to the difficult final steps of his long comeback. Through all this adversity, another part of his life was providing him with a stable foundation, his Jewish heritage. Fried grew up in a Jewish family in Los Angeles, and this identity was a huge part of his story. Years before he was drafted, a 15-year-old Fried represented Team USA at the 2009 Maccabiah Games in Israel, an international event often called the Jewish Olympics. He and his team brought home a gold medal, an experience that connected him to a global community through the shared language of sports. Growing up, he idolized Sandy Koufax, the legendary Dodgers lefty and arguably the most iconic Jewish athlete in American history. For a young, hard-throwing Jewish left-handed pitcher from Los Angeles, there was no bigger or more perfect role model. This was more than simple fandom. Fried was consciously following a blueprint laid by one of the giants of the game, even wearing Koufax's number 32 in high school as a tribute. This brings us to December of 2024. After 8 brilliant seasons in Atlanta, a journey that took him from injured trade throw-in to bona fide ace and World Series champion, Max Fried was a free agent. The New York Yankees, fresh off the bitter sting of losing the Juan Soto sweepstakes to their crosstown rivals, the Mets, were looking to make a massive franchise-altering splash. The fan base was demanding it. They turned their full attention to the undisputed best starting pitcher on the market. On December 17th, after a whirlwind courtship, they reached an agreement. The terms were nothing short of historic. 8 years, $218 million. In raw dollars, it was the largest contract ever given to a left-handed pitcher, just edging out David Price's $217 million deal from 2016. It stands as the fourth largest contract for any pitcher in baseball history, trailing only Yoshinobu Yamamoto, his new teammate Garrett Cole, and Steven Strasburg. And unlike many modern mega deals designed to massage the luxury tax, Fried's contract has no deferred money and includes a full no-trade clause giving him ultimate control. It was a pure, unfiltered commitment from the most famous franchise in sports, a powerful declaration that Max Fried was the key to their next championship. But to truly understand why the Yankees were willing to make such a historic investment, we have to look at the sublime artistry he displays on the field. Chapter 2. The Anatomy of Dominance. So, what exactly does a $218 million pitcher look like? In Max Fried's case, he's not the stereotypical flamethrower you see on highlight reels, a guy trying to light up the radar gun at 102 miles per hour. He's something different, something more refined, more sustainable. He's a master craftsman, a modern-day artist on the mound whose true value is found not just in what he does, but in what he prevents hitters from doing. It all starts with his deep and varied arsenal. Fried operates with a symphony of pitches, each one meticulously designed to disrupt a hitter's timing, balance, and confidence. His primary fastball sits comfortably in the mid-90s, but its power isn't just in its velocity. It's in its late, unpredictable movement that makes it incredibly hard for batters to find the sweet spot of the bat. It's a setup pitch, a tool he uses to establish his presence and prepare the hitter for the real magic. And that's where we find one of the most beautiful and simultaneously brutal weapons in all of baseball, his curveball. It's a sweeping 12-6 breaker, a pitch that seems to defy gravity. It appears to start at a hitter's eyes, causing them to flinch, before falling off a table and dropping directly into the strike zone, ending at their knees. It generates an elite number of swings and misses, and is the pitch that can make the best hitters in the world buckle and look completely foolish. But what elevates Fried from a good pitcher to a truly great one is the sheer depth of his repertoire. He's not a two-pitch pony. Over the years, he's developed a wipeout slider that has become a lethal weapon, particularly against right-handed hitters. It tunnels perfectly off his fastball before darting sharply inward, boring in on their back foot where it's nearly impossible to touch. Add in a heavy sinker that induces weak contact and a deceptive changeup that looks just like a fastball out of his hand, and you have a pitcher with a strategic answer for every single situation he might face. Perhaps the most defining and most valuable part of Fried's game, though, is his incredible ability to generate ground balls. In a modern era where nearly every hitter is swinging for the fences, obsessed with launch angle, and trying to hit home runs, Max Fried is the antidote. He is the counter-revolution. He is arguably the best ground ball pitcher of his generation. In 2024, his ground ball rate was a staggering 59%, which led all qualified pitchers in the National League. Why does that matter so much? Because ground balls do not turn into home runs. They rarely even turn into extra base hits. By consistently keeping the ball on the infield dirt, Fried completely neutralizes the primary offensive strategy in modern baseball. For a team like the Yankees, playing half their games in a homer-happy ballpark, that skill is simply priceless. This brilliant approach is backed up by another elite skill, his defense. Max Fried isn't just a pitcher, he's a world-class athlete on the mound, functioning as a virtual fifth infielder. This isn't just talk, he has the hardware to prove it. From 2020 to 2022, Fried won 3 straight Gold Glove awards as the best defensive pitcher in his league. His pitching style induces weak contact, and his phenomenal athleticism and quick reflexes allow him to clean up the rest. It's a perfect symbiotic loop. And for a short time, his athleticism wasn't just on the mound. Before the universal designated hitter rule was implemented, Fried could really swing the bat. In 2021, he was a legitimate threat at the plate, hitting an impressive .273 and winning the Silver Slugger Award as the best hitting pitcher in the league. In doing so, he became just the third pitcher in baseball history to win both a Gold Glove and a Silver Slugger in the same season. And since the DH was adopted permanently league-wide the very next year, Max Fried will forever hold the distinction of being the last pitcher to ever win a Silver Slugger Award, a unique and cool piece of baseball history. But a pitcher's ultimate legacy is defined by how they perform when the lights are brightest. In the 2021 World Series, Max Fried delivered the performance of a lifetime. With the Atlanta Braves just one win away from a title, they handed him the ball in Game 6, on the road in a hostile Houston environment. The pressure was suffocating. In the chaotic first inning, a runner accidentally stepped on Fried's ankle, causing a sharp, throbbing pain that would bother him all night. Moments later, the Astros loaded the bases. The championship itself seemed to be hanging precariously in the balance. With his ankle screaming in protest, Fried dug deep, stared down the heart of the order, and somehow escaped the jam unscathed. What followed was 6 innings of pure, gutsy dominance. He completely shut down one of the best offenses in baseball. 6 innings, 0 runs. He was, as Astros star Jose Altuve later said, almost unhittable. The Braves cruised to their first World Series title in 26 years, with Fried earning the win in the clinching game. It was a career-defining performance that proved he has the heart and poise of a true champion. That one night was the peak, but it was built on a foundation of sustained excellence. Over his 8-year career in Atlanta, he posted a sparkling 3.07 ERA. This wasn't a fluke. It's the product of sustained, year-after-year dominance. This is the complete anatomy of a $218 million pitcher. We've broken down the pitches, the stats, and the clutch moments that define him. It's undeniably clear that Max Fried is an elite, top-tier talent. If you're enjoying this deep dive, do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe for more baseball breakdowns. It really helps the channel grow. Now, let's get back to the money and the massive legacy he's building. Chapter 3. The Verdict and the Legacy. Max Fried's contract is far more than a financial document filed away in the Yankees front office. It's a legitimate cultural milestone. With that signature, he became not only the new ace of the New York Yankees, but also the richest Jewish athlete in America. That title carries a weight and significance that goes far beyond the chalk lines of a baseball field. To put his $218 million deal into proper perspective, just look at other prominent Jewish athletes. In the NBA, Israeli-American Deni Avdija is a rising star who signed a 4-year, $55 million extension in 2023. That's a massive, life-changing deal that made him the highest-paid Israeli athlete in the world. And yet, the total value of Fried's contract is nearly 4 times bigger, a number that demonstrates the mind-blowing scale of top-tier Major League Baseball contracts compared to even the highest levels of other sports. This new status puts Fried in the same esteemed conversation as legends of Jewish American sports history. He joins a pantheon with titans like Hank Greenberg, the Detroit Tigers slugger from the 1930s and 40s, who courageously battled public anti-Semitism to become a 2-time MVP and a national hero. He stands alongside Ryan Braun, a former MVP himself. Most importantly, it puts him on a parallel path with his childhood hero, Sandy Koufax. While Koufax played in an era when salaries were a tiny fraction of today's, his legacy is immeasurable. He was a symbol of quiet dignity, unparalleled excellence, and immense Jewish pride, most famously sitting out a World Series game that fell on the holy day of Yom Kippur. Now Fried, a fellow lefty from LA, wearing the iconic pinstripes in a city that is home to the largest Jewish population in the world, inherits a significant piece of that mantle. The Yankees didn't just sign a great pitcher, they signed a compelling story and a powerful connection to a community that has incredible value all on its own. So, we come back to the final, bottom line question. Is he worth it? The history of mega contracts for pitchers is notoriously risky. It's a landscape littered with cautionary tales, contracts that became anchors weighing down a franchise for a decade. For every Garrett Cole who lives up to the ESTAOM deal, there's a Steven Strasburg whose own $245 million contract became a symbol of disaster, derailed by career-ending injuries that turned him into the highest-paid spectator in the sport. Pitching is a volatile, physically demanding craft. One awkward step, or one over-torqued throw, can change everything. However, if you're going to bet that kind of franchise-altering money on an arm, Max Fried is arguably one of the safest bets you can possibly make. The Tommy John surgery that nearly ended his career before it began is now over a decade in the past. His pitching style, more importantly, is built for the long haul. Because he relies on impeccable command, clever sequencing, and generating movement instead of just raw, arm-shredding velocity, there's theoretically less strain on his arm. His elite ability to get ground balls is a skill that ages beautifully, independent of a declining fastball. For the Yankees, the context of the signing makes it a clear and obvious win. They are a financial juggernaut that had money to spend, and a desperate need for another top-tier starter to pair with their reigning Cy Young winner, Garrett Cole. Fried was, without a single doubt, the best man for the job. He's a lefty, which provides balance to the rotation. He's a proven winner, an elite defender, and a World Series champion who has already conquered the brightest stage. The verdict? Yes. In the inflated, high-stakes market of modern professional sports, Max Fried is worth every single penny of his $218 million. He is a rare and precious mix of elite production, durable mechanics, and proven championship character. He is a ground ball artist in a fly ball era, an old-school craftsman with new-school stuff, and now, he is a historical figure. The story of Max Fried is, above all, a testament to perseverance. It's the story of a can't-miss phenom who was brought to his knees by a career-threatening injury, only to return not just healed, but stronger and smarter. It's the story of a player who embraced his heritage and, in doing so, became an icon for an entire community. And now, it's the story of a man who earned one of the richest and most significant contracts in the annals of sports history. The $218 million figure will always be attached to his name, a headline number that grabs your attention. But it's the journey from the rehab table to the championship podium, the quiet dominance on the mound, and the cultural legacy he now carries that will truly define him. The New York Yankees didn't just buy an arm, they invested in a champion. Now I want to hear from you. Is this the best contract of the entire offseason? Is Max Fried the final piece of the puzzle for a 28th championship in the Bronx? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you want more deep dives on the biggest stories in baseball, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. And while you're here, check out this next video on another historic baseball contract. You won't want to miss it.